Hey guys, first I just want to say thank you so much for joining this video, for watching this video. This is my first time ever creating something like this. I'm very new at this, but I have learned so much about Zoom and teletherapy over the past year that I've been doing it, and I thought, why not share this with the world to make teletherapy easier for them? I hope that this video provides you with answers to your questions, to your concerns, eases the stress that you may be feeling. I'm going to answer all the questions that I can today, and if I don't answer your question, please make sure to leave it in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer it to make your life a lot easier. So with that being said, I want you guys to know I am not a speech-language pathologist. I haven't been to grad school. I am a certified speech-language technician. I do individualized one-on-one therapy with my students under the supervision of my speech-language pathologist. So I'm currently working for Richard Hagen Educational Therapy Professionals. It has been a great environment, wonderful work opportunity, lots of super nice people, very easy to communicate with. Here's my little plug-in. And he is currently looking to hire new speech-language technicians for the next school year. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you're interested, looking for a job, I'll leave information below so you can contact him and hopefully be able to apply. First thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is my setup. If you have the opportunity to do this, I urge you to do it. It will make your teletherapy life so much easier. If you can't, I know you will be successful with what you have. But what that is, and what has helped me, is having an extra monitor. I connect it to my computer via an HDMI cable. So if you have an HDMI port on your computer, you can buy that on Amazon. It's super cheap. I'll make sure to include what I have in the link below. It is just so helpful with teletherapy. You have your camera that you want to focus on. You have your activities that you want to make sure you have open. There's just a lot of things that you need to be able to see. So by having an extra monitor, it helps me to be able to see all of the things that I need in front of me at one time. So the second thing I want to talk about is your schedule. I have a schedule that has students back to back from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. typically every day. What I've found is with teletherapy, it is very complicated to look at different activities, the video, and your schedule at the same time. So what I've done is I've taken the time to print out my schedule and I put it on my wall so that I can always be glancing up, making sure I am on the right student, I'm not missing any students, and I know when my next student will arrive. The third thing that has helped me a lot is to have physical resources that I can have in my hands to show my students. Teletherapy is pretty much computer-based, and I have found that if I stick strictly to just computer images, my students eventually will tire out. So I have a lot of physical resources that I use that make it feel more tangible even though we're not together. For example, I have a little laminated picture of a dog. I love this because I can take any expo marker and I can draw on this picture. The second thing I love to have, which I've been meaning to put on my back wall, is a whiteboard. I always use the whiteboard, and you do have whiteboard accessibility on Zoom, but if you can have something physical, it is very helpful. So I just have a big whiteboard here, and we just draw all over it, and we take tally marks, and we draw pictures, and it makes it really fun. So like I said, any sort of a fun physical object that I'm sure you have lying around at home, flashcards, makes it more engaging. It makes them feel like they're not just on the computer every speech session. So the fourth thing that I'm going to talk about is what I do to get my students motivated to work hard. What I've done is I've created folders for each of my students. I put their names on the front, and in their folders, I print out the activities we're working on. Because even though I can show them online, I like to have physical copies of them also. We're going to take this student for example. Inside this folder are various pages of things that we've worked on together. And the most important thing that all my students know is inside their folder is their game card. You can do this with any paper, any type of cardstock. I usually just use a really cheap index card, and I draw 10 boxes on the index card front and back. every time the student comes to speech and works hard, I put a sticker. And so this would be one speech session, another speech session, another speech session. So when they get 10 in a row, they get a game day, which means for the entire speech time, we just play games. And I will show you some of the games that I like to play later on in the video. So they can also earn extra stickers if they did their homework, if they practiced during the week, or if they just worked really hard during our session. I'll make sure to give them too. And they love this. They're always like, okay, Miss Cassidy, how many stickers do I have? How many do I need? They love their game days. I find that starting all of my sessions out by telling the student what we're going to be doing that day is very, very helpful. So I typically take out their folder, I'll pull out their game card, and I show them their stickers. And I say, look, you only have 2 left. We're working on number 9. And what we're going to do today to get number 9 is the following. So I tell them what we're going to do. Then during the session, I tell them by teaching them, by working with them. And at the end of the session, I tell them what I told them. I say, you earned this sticker because you did this, this, this really well. We achieved our goal for today, so you get the sticker. So essentially my model is to tell them what you're going to tell them, and then to tell them what you told them. All right, so those are the things that I like to do. I hope they help you too. If you have any other ideas, please feel free to share, and let's jump into Zoom. This is where we're going to start our video. This orange button is where you click to start a new meeting. This will take you directly into your meeting room. And if you click on this little arrow, it gives you 2 options. Number 1 is to start your video with video. So if you want people to see your face immediately, click this button. I do because I don't want to have to turn my video on every time. And then the second one is to always use your personal meeting ID number. This is also something I always have clicked. I find that if I give parents this number, then they know that they can use that number every single week, multiple times a week, and it will never change, so they always go into the same room. So I think this is a very awesome feature of Zoom. If you click on that number, it gives you 3 options. You can copy the ID and paste it. You can copy the invitation, which is a little paragraph that says, Cassidy is inviting you to a scheduled meeting, gives them the link, it gives them the ID number, and it gives them the option to join by phone, which is awesome, and a couple other things in there. You can copy the invitation. I usually do this, and I'll send that in an email, or I have parents that will text me and say, hey, what's the room number again? And I send the invitation in a text message. And PMI settings is where you can click to go change some features of your personal meeting room if you so desire. Next is to join. So this is what the parents click if they're going to join your meeting room. So for example, my meeting number is this. So if I gave this to the parents, they would copy it, and then they would click join, and they would paste it right in there. So I already did that, but they would paste it, and they would hit join, and they would jump right into my meeting room. Schedule, you can click on that to create scheduled Zoom meetings. So for example, if I had a student, his name was John Doe, I would say John Doe speech session. I would put the date that it's going to happen, the time that it's going to happen, typically 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes, and I would make it a recurring meeting. So it is every single week. I would put in that they should always go to my personal meeting ID, and I would put my video on, request that their video is on, and I would also have the audio be telephone and computer audio. Another thing you can do is create scheduled reoccurring meetings by downloading the Zoom Scheduler extension onto your Google Chrome. So if you just type in Zoom extension Google Calendar, it'll pop up with this option. You'll click that, and then right here it'll give you the option to add it to your Google Chrome. Now mine says remove because I already have it, but you'll click add. And what that's going to do is allow you to create Google Calendar events and make them into Zoom meetings. So for example, if I click create, I would say this is John Doe's speech session, which is going to happen every Saturday from 4 to 4:30. We'll say it's 30 minutes. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a Zoom meeting. Whoever you sent this link to, it has your Zoom information here. So all they need to do is click on this link and it'll take them right to your Zoom room. What I would do is I would click on this session and I would click edit and I would add some guests into this portion. Whoever it is that you want to add, they don't have to have Gmail, but if they do, it's really helpful because if they accept the invite and they click yes, then it'll go onto their Google Calendar and remind them every week. So you can set the notification to an email, and you can say that 30 minutes before 4 o'clock, so at 3:30, it'll send them an email reminder that the session is coming up. We're going to skip share screen. We'll talk about that in a minute. Up here, you have the option to chat. You have the option to see all of the meetings you've scheduled, and you have contacts. I like to try and add all my parents into my contacts. They can request a video call with me and we can chat. I have found that a lot of parents like to chat with me on Zoom. If they don't send me a text message, typically they're messaging me on Zoom. So I have to be making sure that I am checking Zoom frequently so I don't miss any of my messages. And over here, I like to make sure that I'm available, never away, or on Do Not Disturb. If you're on a Zoom meeting, it will say Do Not Disturb. I'm always available if I'm not in a Zoom meeting. I like to put this bio here. You can put whatever you want. I like Let's Do Speech. So that's the basic main landing page. I hope that was pretty straightforward and made sense. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm going to start a new meeting. Typically, I do this 15 to 20 minutes before my day starts, before students start logging in. So I'll click New Meeting, and voila, here I am. And now I have the option to choose for my audio. So I join with computer audio, and then I can see that my audio is working because my little microphone is fluttering up and down. We're going to dive in and learn a bunch of cool things and features about Zoom. Zoom had this feature in the past, but it was something that you had to manually turn on by going into your settings. But now, because of the new update, they require all to come into a waiting room, which is great because it does not break confidentiality. I'm going to show you what it looks like on my end when an individual jumps into your waiting room. All right, so there you have it. Our first participant has joined the meeting room. So as you can see, Israel, my husband, has just jumped into the meeting room. And so what you will see is two options. You can either admit them or you can see who's in your waiting room. I can see that in the meeting is just myself and in the waiting room is my husband. And so I can either admit him or remove him. Typically, you're going to admit them into your meeting room, but you can also remove them if you need to. If you remove them, they cannot come back into the meeting room, even if they try multiple times. You have to end your meeting and start a new one in order for them to come back in. So make sure that if you remove them, you don't need them to come back in again. Okay, so now that we've talked about the waiting room, we're going to talk about sharing screens. So this little fun green button down here is one of my best friends in Zoom because I am always sharing my screen. So what you can do is click on Share Screen, and it'll give you lots of different options of screens you can share. You can share your whole desktop, which they'll see everything. You can share your whiteboard. You can share your iPhone or your iPad via AirPlay or via a cable. You can share your Google Chrome, QuickTime Player, your messages, whatever it is that's open on your computer, you have the opportunity to share. So I'm going to share the whiteboard with you guys, and this is what it looks like. It's just a whiteboard, and I use this for so many different things. So we're going to talk about some of these annotation features that Zoom has. The first one is a text box, and that's just like a typical text box. You can write whatever you want, and you can also make the font bigger or smaller by clicking on Format. And out here at the bottom, it gives you bold, italicized, and some font options. And colors. My kids are always like, Miss Cassidy, yellow, yellow. Miss Cassidy, blue, blue, blue. Red. So you can change colors that way. You can also draw. I love using this circle. I'm always like, no, 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 we're working over here. Okay, say this again for me one more time. Yes. And then on stamps. Good job. That was perfect. Beautiful, you're doing it really well, you're pronouncing it so well, good production, good placement, lots of fun things like that. So that's the stamp feature, or what was that? Oh, I didn't quite get it, say it one more time. You can also have a solid circle down here, and with that you can also change the color. So you can pick a yellow solid circle, you can pick a orange solid circle, and they love this. There's squiggly lines. There's another squiggly line, a thinner one. You have a double-edged arrow, and this circle or box is a see-through one. So they can still see hi if you circle it. A spotlight tool is just a little highlighter where they can see this little red laser pointer. They can see what it is that you're focusing on. You have an eraser where you can erase things individually, or you can click clear and clear all of my drawings, or clear the viewer's drawings, or clear all drawings. So this is really great too. And you can save that if you don't want to have to go back and do it again. I have taught all of my students how to use the annotation feature, so they know what they need to click on to be able to draw. And sometimes they'll draw circles while I'm talking, or they'll do stamps, lots of stamps. And so if I don't want them to be able to annotate anymore, I just have to come to the top, click on More, and click Disable and Attendee Annotation. And that will not allow them to annotate anymore. And then if you want to enable it again, you just click on More and click Enable Attendee Annotation. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. That's how the whiteboard works. I'm going to clear all my drawings, and then I'm going to close out my whiteboard by clicking Stop Share. So some other things you can share are your desktops. And so, for example, if I click on my Google Chrome share, I can share that. And I'm just going to show that I typed in vocalic R words. And I love to use Mommy Speech Therapy. I'll talk about this later. But so you can see my Google Chrome and my desktop. So sometimes if I say, all right, let's look at some butterflies. I'll type in butterflies, and we'll go to images, and we can see lots of different butterflies together. Now you have to be careful with sharing your screen. Make sure you are at the page you want to share before you share it. The next thing I wanted to share with you is being able to share the screen of your iPad on Zoom. What you're going to need is to take your iPad and whatever cable that you're using and plug it into the USB input of your computer. Once that's plugged in, you're going to click on the app that you want to use for your session. So for mine, I'm going to click on Prepositions. Once that app is open, I'm going to click on Share Screen, and I'm going to click on iPhone/iPad via cable, and then click Share. This might take a few seconds to load, but once it does, you'll see this on your screen. So it says, find the cat on the couch. They'll tell me which one they think it is, and I'll click the right answer, and then we'll move to the next one. Find the boy far from the bench. And if I click on my home button, it'll take me to the home screen. The next feature I wanted to show you is by far my favorite feature that Zoom has, and it's the remote control. The reason why I love this is because if I have an activity on the screen, it allows the student to interact on their computer with my activity while I'm interacting as well. Okay, so now you can see that our first student below is my husband, and so what I'm going to do is make sure that my activity is pulled up, and then I'm going to share the screen with him. So I'll come down to the bottom, and I'm going to click on Share Screen, and then I'm going to share my Google Chrome Boom Card desktop, which is what he'll see here. So then I'm going to go up here to Remote Control, I'm going to give him control, and he should be able to click on what he sees. All right, Israel, so here we have a star. Will you click on the two sounds that you think this word starts with? St, st. Good job. Next one, this is where we weigh ourselves. It is called a scale. Sk. Another helpful tip I'll give you while using the remote control feature is that since they're controlling your screen, they are using your mouse. So if they're moving the mouse while I'm moving the mouse, this is what it'll look like. It'll jump all over the place. So I have to say, all right, Israel, it's Miss Cassidy's turn. Thank you. And we can click on going to the next one. And when you're done with this, you just go all the way to the top, remote control, and you abort control from them. And now you are the only one controlling the screen. While we have our student here, I'm going to show you some of the games we like to play for game days. The first game I wanted to share with you is called Bubble Blaster. This is a game I found online, and I found my students really enjoy playing this game. All they have to do is take the bubble at the bottom and click to match it with a bubble on the screen. So I'll go up to the top, give Israel remote control, and prompt him to move his bubble. Okay, Israel, you can click and match your bubble to a corresponding blue bubble. There you go. And when you don't want him to be able to control your screen, again, you go up to the top and click Abort Control. The next game is called Hidden Pictures, and you can find this on highlights.kids.com. The student is given a picture, and they are to find various hidden images within that picture. Good job! And the last game is the T-Rex Runner game. This game is provided by Google. Typically, when your internet's not working, you can play this while you're waiting, but my students love to play this game on their game days. Okay, Israel, so let's make sure you have control, and you do. So if you press the space bar or the up arrow, your dinosaur should move. Okay, now we have to try and jump over all the bushes. Right now, I am the participant in Israel's personal meeting room. So as you can see at the top, it says you are viewing Israel Turley's screen. So he is sharing his screen with me. Now, as the participant, I also want to be able to annotate on the whiteboard. You will find that your students will want to draw, and so you need to be able to explain to them what they need to click on or do in order to get to the annotation tools. So as the participant, I will come up to the top and click View Options, and then I will click on Annotate. Now that I am here, I can click on all my various different drawing features that we discussed earlier in the video, and I can draw whatever I want. And Israel should be able to see this on his screen. Israel, can you see this on your screen? Awesome. So now Israel is also drawing with me. As the participant, I can clear my drawings, I can erase my drawings, but you will find that I cannot erase the host's drawings. It will not give me permission. The host has now shared with me the Hidden Images game. As a participant, I want to have remote control. So I will come up to View Options and I will click Request Remote Control. And I will click Request, and now Israel should receive a notification allowing him to give me permission to have remote control. Quick side note, the student does not have to request remote control if you give it to them on your end of the screen. Alright, so now I have remote control and I can start searching for the hidden images. So, for example, I see one right here. I can also annotate on a main web page. So if I come down to annotation, I can say, look at the big helicopter in the sky. Or I found the ice cream and the seashell. I can put hearts. I can annotate check marks, and so can the host. If you direct your attention to the right side of the screen, you'll see that it is only the host's picture, and I cannot see myself as the participant. So to change that, I will need to just click on the two boxes stacked on top of each other, and I will be able to see myself. For speech therapy, it's very important that they can see themselves and see what they're doing, as well as see the host or the teacher and see what they are doing. For the last part of this video, I wanted to share with you my top 5 activities that I use all the time during teletherapy. The first one is cue matching. I came across this a while ago on Google while I was searching for matching games for different sounds in different word positions. For example, one that I use a lot is the cue initial S matching game. I'll make sure to include it in the link below, and you can also search for different sounds in different positions of words. The second one is mommyspeechtherapy.com. I'm sure many of you have heard of this, and the reason I love it so much is because she has digital PDF images of words and pictures so that the student can have lots of practice. The third one is Deborah Brooks. She has created lots of different resources for speech therapy. The ones that I use a lot are the preposition cards and also her warm-up pages. Again, I'll make sure to include her website in the link down below so you guys can go and check out the resources she has. The fourth one is PowerPoint. You would be surprised at the speech concepts and activities you can create from the comfort of your own home without having to spend anything. This is an example of a PowerPoint document that I created with a bunch of speech activities on my own. For example, I came up to the top, I clicked Insert, and I clicked Pictures, Online Pictures, and over here on the side you can search for any image online and include it in your PowerPoint. On this page, I created my own digital tic-tac-toe. Again, I searched for the tic-tac-toe board online and typed in the X's and the O's and copied and pasted them until I had enough. What I do with my students is I will insert the words in the tic-tac-toe board that they're working on. So I will come up to Insert and I'll click on Text Box, and then I will put a word in this first box here. So let's say, for example, they're working on initial S. I'll put soup. And I will repeat that process for every square of my tic-tac-toe board. And then by giving them remote control, they can control the X or the O as we play tic-tac-toe and say our words together. So with this activity, I searched online for an image of an empty house, and I also searched online for various images of Pokemon. And what I told my student was that these Pokemon need to get inside their house and they need your help to say the sound. If you say the sound, they will go inside and go to sleep because they've been up all night long. So that's another way that you can use PowerPoint to be interactive with your students. Make sure you do not click Present Presentation because then the student won't be able to move the images around. You want to make sure you are in the edit mode of PowerPoint when you share your screen with your student and give them remote control to move the objects. The last thing I wanted to share is Story Champs. This is a great language tool while helping your students learn to tell stories, learn the different story grammar elements or parts of the story, and retell stories. The unique thing about Story Champs is that they have live materials that you can use with your student while doing the language intervention, but they also have online resources that you can use to be able to successfully give language intervention over the computer. I'll make sure to include the link to the Language Dynamics website where you can find Story Champs and all of their other great materials to be able to use during teletherapy. At the conclusion of my video, I wanted to thank you guys for watching. I hope that this answers your questions. I hope you feel like you understand Zoom better, that your students will understand Zoom better, and that your interaction with them on teletherapy can be a lot smoother. Again, I want you all to know that if you have any questions, concerns, or things that maybe you didn't understand or weren't explained well in the video, please don't hesitate to comment and I will try my best to answer all of your questions. Again, this is my first time making something like this, so I hope that it provides you with the resources that you need and the ease that you need during this crazy time. Stay safe, stay healthy, and good luck.